So presentation skills. This is so incredibly important because if we have our creativity and our equipment with no means of presenting, no means of communicating and contacting clients, we're not ever gonna get through these next levels of being hired. We can't just sit in our bedroom on our laptop and edit projects all day. We need to get out and network and present ourselves, present our personal brand so that we can actually make money. So the first essential part of this, of the presentation and networking, is to narrow down what it is that we actually do. Find the key words that summarize who you are in your career. Are you a producer, editor, director, filmmaker, cinematographer, sound engineer? Find the top 2 or top 3. For me, producer, director, and I really enjoy the editing process. So if that comes up with the client, boom, that's one of my key words that I can use. Now, the next important part is to develop a 2 to 3 sentence summary of what it actually is that you do using your key words. Now, you'll see that when you guys start networking, talking to friends, talking to potential clients, that you either freeze up and can't really articulate what it is that you do, or you go on for hours again and again saying just a whole, just stumbling and just saying way too much stuff. And then at the end of the conversation, the client can just be annoyed and doesn't even know exactly what it is that you do. So creating a clear, concise 2 to 3 sentence structure that kind of acts as a lightly created script for you to use when you introduce yourself. So a simple example would be, I'm a film producer that creates dynamic documentary projects, or I'm a film editor that puts together amazing music videos, or I'm a videographer that shoots awesomely inspiring travel videos, so that you can simply get across who you are and what you do very simply and clearly. Now, you don't have to stick to a specific script and sound like a news anchor and sound like you're just following, your log lines or anything like that, but all you have to do is use this as your base, right? When someone introduces themselves and say, oh, hey, what do? You say, oh, well, I'm a film producer and I'm working on a 10-part documentary series about so and so. Boom. Then you ask them a question. This is the easiest and best way to keep communication open. You're explaining who you are, you say your keywords, and then you present them with the question. This will allow you to open up the conversation and allow you to find out if this is a potential client for you to work with. You're giving them the answers that they want while also asking questions that you want from that person. Now, the most important thing is obviously to sound natural with this, right? Like I said, we don't need to sound like a robot saying, I'm a film producer, this. It has to be clear without rambling on and confusing the other person. Now, after we have this interaction with a potential client, we always want to be leaving this interaction on a positive note. If it's someone that you exchange business cards with and you know that you want to work with in the future, leave the conversation saying that you're going to do a follow-up email, a call, or a text. Ideally, you're leaving a phone call or an email because obviously texts are a little bit less professional, but it really depends on who the client is. Is your client wearing a business suit and he works for a corporate job? You're not going to want to send a text. Is your client more laid back? He owns his own business. Maybe it's a workout company and he's dressed in workout clothes and he seems like a cool dude. Okay, that would be a situation where you could possibly do a text message follow-up. Hey, it was awesome meeting you at the event last night. I'd love to do work together in the future. Here is my website. Very clear, very concise. and very easy for that client to remember you and decide if you are a presentable and hireable person that they want to pay to shoot a project. I remember specifically one project about 4 years ago that I was going to shoot an event in downtown LA, nothing special. I was gonna get paid $300 to just go shoot, dump the footage, and then be done with it. Now, while I was at this event, I ended up striking up a conversation with someone who was wearing a nice watch. I said, hey, that's an awesome watch. And then we got to talking. He's like, oh, what kind of camera is that? Led the conversation, told him what I did, asked him the appropriate questions. And this client ended up being one of my highest paid clients for the last 4 or 5 years. So when you get out and you put yourself in these networking situations and present yourself as someone that is hireable, it's going to lead to projects that you could have not planned for. It doesn't matter how much you can sit in your room planning, seeing how you're gonna do this, how you're gonna do that. You need to get out and present yourself to potential clients.